This session is an introduction to social protection. It covers the concept of Social Security, extension of Social Security, and the staircase approach to progressively increase the level of benefits. It then moves on to the concept of a social protection floor, or SPF. The presentation also touches upon international labor standards, such as the Convention 102 of 1952, Recommendation 202 of 2012 of the ILO. Finally, it discusses social security strategies adopted by countries and gives an overview of ILO's work on social security in the Asia-Pacific region. People face contingencies such as maternity, sickness, unemployment, employment injury, invalidity, old age, and death, which can put an end to or cause a substantial reduction in their earnings. Families also require medical care and may need financial provisions for their children's care and education. To meet all these financial needs at different points in people's lives, Social Security is important. Social Security is the protection which society provides for its members against the economic and social distress that otherwise would be caused by these contingencies. In the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right number 22, is the right of people to Social Security. The ILO provides for Social Security through its conventions and recommendations.
We always invite our constituents to look also at the other convention related to the right to Social Security. As Valerie said, the 102 is a flagship convention, the long one, with its two recommendations on income security and also recommendation on medical care. But then along the years were developed a number of other conventions to complement some particular branches of Social Security to come with additional details on how a scheme should be implemented. So you have one for injury benefits, also one specifically on old age and survival benefits, one on medical care and sickness, the other one on unemployment benefits, which is linked to promotion of employment, and also one on maternity protection. And then you have more recent and umbrella convention with basic principle, which is equality of treatment and maintenance of Social Security rights if you move from one scheme to another, from one country to the other. And we have a very useful publication that you can also find online, which gives you a brief and understandable description of the content of those conventions, explaining what are the guidelines and the recommendation when you set up a scheme. Just one slide, because this presentation on the convention can be very lengthy, but we wanted to share with you what are the fundamental principles that we find first in the Convention 102, but then that will be reused to develop and to fit the guidelines of all the different conventions I have mentioned. The first very important principle is universality and non-discrimination. It should provide, the social insurance scheme should provide, social security scheme, so it should provide universal coverage for all residents, and it should be based on implementation of equality. This principle, which was included in 1952 with the Convention 102, it's interesting to see that this is one of the core principles of the new recommendation for the social protection floor. It really re-emerged as a priority for establishing social protection. The second one is adequacy and sustainability. Those schemes should be those schemes with their benefit package should be adequate, which means that it should be adapted to the level of economic and social development of the country, but also consistent with the national, larger, broader national economic and social policy. It should not be developed ad hoc. It should be part of a national strategy. And it's also very important at the time of designing the social security policy to realize, to assess the institutional capacity, to make sure that then you have the institution, the staff, the capacity to implement these different schemes. The coverage or extension of coverage should be progressive, And this is again an idea we find in the recommendation on social protection flow by starting with a minimum universal guaranteed purport and progressively extending to higher level of benefits. We'll get back to this approach. It should also respect a fair balance of interest. And this means by involving all stakeholders, ministries, but also social partners, workers and employers representatives, who will be involved also in funding those schemes. And the administration, it is recommended by the convention that the administration, the board, should be tripartite. Collective financing, this is also a very important principle. It relies on risk pooling, on sharing financing, and collective financing, which will incur some solidarity among different groups of the population, among generations, among workers, employees with stable contracts, with short-term contracts. Collective financing is also very important. It should be done through contribution and taxation. And here is a bit the idea vehicled through those conventions, not against, but not in favor of setting up individual saving accounts, which may not provide the adequate protection. And the last one, but not the least, is the state's responsibility. The scheme should be entailed into laws and the legal framework, and the state should be the last guarantor of the scheme.